Coming up in NAIT NewsWatch.
ETS stations across Edmonton may be getting safer.
We will be able to hire additional 10 police officers.
The Alberta government supports the plan to extend Edmonton's LRT system.
We've issued assurance to the city, the province for money for our NAIT line of almost $500 million in new capital.
A new project is looking at the health risks involved in trades.
The health effects, like for even infants that are unborn and stuff, and just health effects for women in general.
NAIT NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Disturbances at LRT and transit centers are on the rise.
This has prompted the city to request more money to increase the number of security officers around our city. Our Kendall Gani joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
A $1 million budget was approved in 2010, which will allow the city enough money to hire 10 new peace officers to patrol our city.
I just don't go by myself usually late at night. I'm usually with a group of people, but you try to stay in large groups of people so you don't look vulnerable.
Ryan Deary, an ETS commuter, pays attention to his surroundings while using the ETS service. Security officers in 2010 saw a 54% increase in the amount of incidents that they had to respond to. A majority of these events were related to drunk or unruly passengers. Ryan witnessed one of these disturbances.
I just saw this homeless man sleeping in the LRT station, and 2 peace officers came and tried to tell him to get out of there, but he didn't get out of there, and they ended up getting in a huge fight.
In 2010, officers responded to nearly 27,000 disturbances. That is an increase from the close to 15,000 in 2009. City Council member Amarjeet Sohi believes that as the ETS system grows, so will this demand for more officers.
Here we have seen significant growth. We have opened 2 new transit centers last year, and obviously the LRT stations. And all those good things bring some challenges.
These challenges include people who try to skip on paying their fare, harassing the driver, or disturbing other passengers. So he hopes that just the presence of these officers will help the problem.
Because I think that visibility has a huge impact to make sure that people feel safe on the system.
In addition to increasing the amount of security officers, they're also taking initiatives such as adding cameras to buses, as well as discussing adding a GPS system to make it easier to track these buses in case an incident does occur.
So are there any specific locations they want to send security out to first?
The troubled areas are the transit centers that are in Churchill and Clairview, so they're hoping to increase the amount of security there as well as the bus stops in between.
So Kendall, are these peace officers going to be out there just during the day, or will they be securing the areas at night as well?
During the late afternoon and evening is when people start to feel less secure and more disturbances will occur, so that's when they're hoping to send more security out there so that people feel safe.
Thanks, Kendall. That's Kendall Gani reporting live from our news center tonight.
The NAIT LRT expansion has been approved and is sure to make your morning commute a lot less stressful. The Alberta government will support the City of Edmonton's plan to extend its existing LRT system from downtown Churchill Station to NAIT campus through $497 million in capital funding.
But today I am very privileged to say we received assurances. We've issued assurance to the city, the province for money for our NAIT line of almost $500 million in new capital. Funding has been secured to the Green Fund.
The funding is part of the Provincial Green Transit Incentives Program, or Green Trip. Over the duration of the program, $800 million in funding is available for transit projects in the capital region.
The province's commitment is there. It is in writing. It's confirmed. And that lets us know that our LRT line will finish to NAIT by the date of 2014.
The North LRT is scheduled to open in 2014 and is expected to add more than 13,000 weekday LRT passengers.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch.
Health risks at work can be very different depending on your gender.
A new project is looking for volunteers who work in metalworking and electrical trades. Our Dalla Martin has more on this story.
The What Me project is looking to build a database of health hazards for workers. The project will follow females who are working in metalworking and electrical trades, and if they become pregnant during this time, there'll be a high interest to see if the child is at any risk.
Breathing dangerous chemicals, loss of eyesight, and hearing are all risks associated with these trades. One factor the project is trying to focus on more is the effect the trade will have on pregnancy. Aaron Mitus has already had a child and is a first-year NAIT welding apprentice who has taken interest in the project and has volunteered.
If in the future I decide to have more children, I want to know if there are going to be any health effects from my child, knowing that if there are, then I should, what precautions I should take.
Colleges across Alberta, including NAIT, have stepped up to help find some volunteers. NAIT Welding Chairman Chris Manning says it's important to identify the dangers early.
It's pretty positive, really, and all that the study is trying to do is establish if people, in this case female welders or tradespeople, are at somehow putting themselves at risk.
Dr. Jeremy Beach is one of the occupational health professors at the U of A who will be working on the project. Beach says that the major risks with the trade affect both men and women, but the fact that women can carry a child can't be ignored.
Ignore that, and it's going to be one of the first questions we're asking about women's health will be about ability to, have a healthy pregnancy if you're in one of these trades. Now, there isn't a lot of evidence either way at the moment.
Now, the What Me project is looking to get about 2,000 volunteers in total because more women are getting these trades every year. Also, the project is looking to acquire more funding and grants to help further along the study as time goes by.
Thanks, Dallin. That's Dallin Martin reporting from downtown Edmonton.
After a long day of debate on April 6th, City Council has passed the motion to take the next step in the plans to build a new arena and entertainment facility. The Cates Group is now able to move forward in negotiations after a 10-3 vote on Wednesday. The motion that was put forth requests administrators to negotiate the financial framework of a downtown arena.
Financial side is what's the right model for the City of Edmonton in terms of its scale and scope, in terms of the interface between public and private investment.
A couple of the conditions are a maximum of $450 million to be set before any approval by council, a user ticket fee to fund capital costs, the city to negotiate options for potential revenue sharing, and the city owns the arena and land for any new facility. To see the full list of terms and conditions, you can go to edmonton.ca.
With electricity bills set to take a massive jump this month, Edmontonians will need to pay more to keep their lights on. Due to the 2 power plants in Wabnam, along with the long and cold winter, and more people moving to Alberta, the demand for power is increasing.
So we had 2 power plants supplying power to Alberta. They went out of service, supply went down, price went up.
In March, the regulated rate option paid was just over 7 kilowatts per hour and will be bumped up to over 11 in April, which is an increase of $30 a month in a typical household. A couple things that can help lower your bill is changing light bulbs to a lower energy light bulb, putting programmable thermostats, and getting lower energy deep freezes.
People living in the homes around NAIT are wanting the city to crack down on students parking in front of their houses. The public is free to park down 106th Street starting at 119th to 123rd Avenue for 2 hours.
I think this is a residential area and it should be kept for the people that live in the housing. And so people who are staying overnight should be able to park in front of their houses overnight.
I don't know if I'm upset. I mean, Edmonton's, you gotta search to find places to park, And if it's 2 hours, don't park there if it's longer than 2 hours because you're probably gonna end up getting ticketed.
Many students come out every 2 hours to move their vehicle so that they won't get ticketed, and the city is working towards being more strict on the 2-hour time slot.
Well, it's that time of year again. Not only is the snow melting, but the construction season has begun. The City of Edmonton announced its plans for the widening of Scona Road, and people who use it will have 1 month to find alternative routes, for the road will be closed completely from May 1st until November of this year.
99th Street is full of horrible potholes right now. I just wish there was better planning for the residents to be able to access different roads and a little bit more support.
I guess it's unfortunate that it's going to affect us so much.
The construction is expected to increase travel efficiency along Scona Road.
Construction is not the only sure sign of spring, but the risk of flooding has some people concerned. The spring runoff is expected to cause problems for many people in the Edmonton area. Already this spring, several people have been caught off guard.
I think the water will probably stay around for a long time because all the snow took a while to melt, so there'll be a lot of puddles everywhere.
Eastside Mario's in Spruce Grove fell victim to the runoff when the restaurant flooded earlier this month, causing the building to be closed down for 3 days.
Missing 3 whole days of work is kind of tough just to make rent and whatnot.
Tips to prevent flooding include waterproofing cracks in your foundation, spouts should exit at the splash pads, and eaves troughs should be cleaned regularly. City crews are currently out working to pump out water.
The sun has finally began to melt the large mounds of snow across our city, and with that comes allergy season. Allergies affect over 10 million Canadians every year, and snow mold is a major contributor around this time, and many people are feeling the symptoms right now.
I get like dry skin, I get hives. It mostly affects my eczema.
There's prescription medications that you can take to help deal with your symptoms, and allergy shots are really effective for some people as well. So they'll be exposed to tiny amounts of the allergen, and over time they'll find that they develop less of a sensitivity to it, so that can be really effective for a lot of people.
Some other tips are to keep your lawn maintained. Don't apply nitrogen-based fertilizer late in the season. Make sure you rake your lawn and keep it cut short. Also make sure you keep cutting until it stops growing.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at the long-term effects of alcohol.
Getting over a hangover may be tougher as you age.
The younger person is going to be a lot more resilient to the effects of alcohol.
Coming up after the break.
Bears!
Versus Canada's!
Sucks!
So, snow's starting to melt, fields are starting to open.
Yeah, slow pitch season's starting soon, so I'm pretty excited.
Edmonton Capitals are starting in the next little bit.
Graham, will the trend continue, or what do you have for us?
It seems to be getting warmer slowly, but unfortunately there's still the snow that has to melt and all this wind. In Calgary, it's expected to be a low of 0 and a high of +9. Jasper, low of -2, high of +4. Cloudy, 60% chance of flurries. Fort McMurray, low of -1, high of +5. Cloudy, 80% chance of rain or snow there, unfortunately. Edmonton, 0 and a high of +16, still windy. Mostly cloudy, 20% chance of wet flurries though. The averages for April 11th are +9 and -3. Records is a high of +23 in 1913 and -20 in 1940.
Weather brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
So yeah, hopefully it will, other than those flurries, be getting better out and all the snow will melt.
Well, that's good news for all you guys, but I'm headed to Brazil Monday, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, you're lucky for that then.
Thanks, Graham.
The dreaded morning hangover is an expected effect for many after a long night of drinking.
But what many students might not know are the changes that can occur as they age. Sarah Comedina reports.
As you get older, your body takes longer to filter alcohol out of your system, turning that Friday night of heavy drinking to result in a 2-day hangover. 26-year-old Matt Velches has noticed a difference in his hangovers.
When I was 18, I can't even compare. When I was 18, I could literally have 2 hours of sleep, maybe 3 hours, and I was fine. I could just go the next day like nothing ever happened. I'd be feeling rough for maybe an hour, then give me a coffee, and I'm good to go. So, but now, totally different story.
This is because the enzymes your body uses to break down liquor diminish as we age, making hangovers for a 25-year-old last longer than a hangover for an 18-year-old.
A younger person is going to be a lot more resilient to the effects of alcohol than somebody who is aging and has more of the thing that alcohol creates in the first place.
Nutritionist John Biggs says that taking natural products such as vitamin B and milk thistle the day before a party helps to lessen the effects of a large amount of alcohol consumed in a short period of time. Studies have shown that binge drinking is more common for young adults ages 15 to 24, being 3 times higher than the rate of 25 years and older. Dietitians say that drinking wine in moderation can actually benefit your heart and give you energy, but drinking too much can actually hurt your liver and cause weight gain. For Matt, he says he has stopped heavy drinking and only drinks casually.
I don't think I've had any like bad effects or anything like that. I mean, I am who I am. Nothing's really changed. I don't drink anymore or any less. Well, actually less, I could definitely say, but.
For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Sarah Comedina.
So Brad Hamilton's here with sports.
So I hear national pride's on the line at the South Soccer Center.
It is. We've got the Mini World Cup wrapping up next week. They're in the middle of action right now. I've got that and more coming up right now in sports. We're into the middle of the Mini World Cup tournament schedule, and with round-robin play winding up over the last couple of days, teams are now getting ready for their first round matchups. The 31-team field was cut down to 16 teams on Thursday. As with any sport, the competition has been getting pretty aggressive at times, especially with country pride on the line.
This is the biggest tournament that we've got here, and it's a heritage thing. As you can see, a lot of people, a lot of fans from their backgrounds come out and watch and support. It means a lot to the boys.
You can come out and show your support as well for your country, as matches will continue on throughout the weekend. Semi-final matches are set for Monday evening at the South Soccer Center, and the tournament will wrap up with the finals on Wednesday night. The feeling of striping one right down the middle of the first tee or dropping a 10-footer for par, those are the urges that are starting to reappear in people's minds. With spring weather just around the corner, the question is asked, what effect will the extended winter have on the golf courses?
Now that we're this late into the year, the changes aren't too significant. If you get a super early thaw like in March, you could be in trouble with some ice formation, but now that we're into April, it can just go. It can melt and just get the snow off the golf course.
With a few ranges around the city already open, like Mill Woods, and with the recent warm weather, it won't be long for the other courses to open their doors for the season. As with any athletic program, funding plays a huge role in its success. For the Concordia University men's hockey team, it was an unfortunate lack of funding that led to the cancellation of the program for the upcoming season. After 19 seasons in the ACAC, the school announced on Wednesday that they won't be able to maintain the yearly $100,000 budgeted program. With the cancellation of the program, who's going to be affected the most?
You know, what's unfortunate in all of this is they're not forgotten, but it's the athletes that have invested a lot into their education. Now it's a big decision for them. Are they going to move programs? And I know that there's some athletes that are contacting coaches out there to see what the options are.
Concordia's shining moment came in 2003 when they won the ACAC championship. Now, since the announcement was made, many local organizations have stepped forward with strong interests in supporting the team and helping them take to the ice for the 2012 season. Shifting over to the WHL with convincing 4-0 series win over the Oil Kings in the first round, the Red Deer Rebels now have to prepare for the quarterfinal matchup against their rivals from the south, the Medicine Hat Tigers. The Rebels, led by the scoring prowess of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and the leadership of guys like Captain Colin Archer, will come into the series having lost the last 3 meetings with the Tigers in the regular season.
It's obviously going to be a tough playoff series, and it's a series we're looking forward to. You know, it's not so much about them, it's more about us.
Regardless of who we play from here on in, it's going to be tightly contested, and they're going to be battles. So either way, it's going to be a rival that we hit in the next round. It's going to be intense, so we're going to have to be sharp and ready.
If victorious in the best-of-7 series, the Rebels would move on to face the winner of the Saskatoon-Kootenay series in the Eastern Conference Finals. Despite the disappointing loss to the Rebels last weekend, Travis Iwanek of the Oil Kings still has competitive hockey season to look forward to. Iwanek got the good news on Monday and will represent Canada at the IIHF World U18 Championships.
It's always tough to lose out. So I mean, obviously, you know that's in the back of your mind. You're not too happy about that. But I mean, I guess hockey moves pretty fast, and you got to regroup and you got to refocus.
He plays with a passion that you need to have to play in the Western Hockey League and pro hockey, and this is going to be a great opportunity for him to go there and maybe play in a shutdown role for Team Canada. And obviously to play.
Iwanek and the rest of the national team will be heading to Dresden, Germany this weekend for the championships. They'll play exhibition games Saturday against the United States, Sweden on Monday, and the host nation on Tuesday. The tournament officially begins for the guys on Friday the 15th when they take on the Czech Republic. University athletics has come to a close for this season for most athletes. Now's the time to hit the books for the rest of the semester. But for Bears volleyball and Pandas hockey, it's a chance to continue not your typical rivalry. Every year they meet on the ice for a friendly match. What's on the line? Mostly pride in having a good time. Some of the guys like to take it to another level.
All lines are firing, and just hold on a sec. Oh, yeah, you know, working hard out there, as you can see, really dripping sweat, and you know, good Lord willing, we'll keep pounding this game hard into the third period.
As you can see, they also like to have a little fun with it. But a match like this doesn't go without some questionable calls at times.
Well, apparently they always win, so they had quite a few peaks that they were coming here and beat us by quite a bit. But it was 14-14, I think, which there was actually a controversial goal that I'm pretty sure we won, but we'll take the tie.
Bears volleyball is still working on getting the Pandas into the volleyball court. Sounds like there's still some negotiating to do on the rules.
So, looks like the Bears and Pandas had a lot of fun.
They did have a lot of fun out there, actually. While I've got a chance, I want to congratulate Brad Poplawski, who you saw in the interview. He is actually going to be head coach next season for McEwen Griffin's men's volleyball.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, thanks, guys.
Coming up after the break, we spend some time with our furry friends.
Dogs with Wings is an organization that provides aid dogs to people in need.
We spend quite a bit of time, of course, training dogs.
Coming up in entertainment. Shit, baby. Joe Thrills on NAIT NewsWatch.
Hair for NAIT NewsWatch personalities, sponsored by Carriel Salon and Spa.
This week, Mike and I headed out to Dogs with Wings, an organization that helped train assistance dogs.
We got to find out what it takes to get a puppy trained into a qualified dog. The dogs are dropped off every morning and stay at the training facility till 5 every night.
Our mission is to increase integration and safety for Albertans with disabilities by the provision of highly skilled guide and assistance dogs.
The dogs learn different skills, from running on treadmills to turning on lights and closing doors. They also learn how to do laundry. The dogs start their training at a young age and build their skills up until they graduate and become qualified assistance dogs. To find out more, you can go to dogswithwings.com. So, Charlie Sheen's affecting people here in Edmonton, too.
Jamila Clark has more on a potential intern.
Beatboxing, freestyling, YouTube connoisseur, and NAIT graduate might soon have the chance to have a lot more than just 15 minutes of fame. Joel Valancourt, or better known as Joe Thrills, has been an avid YouTuber and tweeter for years in hopes of networking his way to internet domination. But some of his most recent online contest entries have him standing as 1 in 250 out of a total 75,000 people that applied to be Charlie Sheen's intern.
I just thought it was another contest. I've been in video contests before and all sorts of online contests, but this one's definitely gained me the most attention.
Joel's hoping his website and reputation for making hilarious and spontaneous videos, including his Party Like I'm Charlie video entry, will be enough to keep the spotlight on him until he's the last one standing.
High under bridges with all the pigeons. Parties with us is all types of fun. Different brains, different hearts, we got tiger blood. Party like I'm Charlie, party like I'm Charlie.
Joel will be hosting and freestyling at Easy Love's Matt the Alien show at the Pawn Shop on April 22nd. It's no contest that this local band has some serious talent that'll soon be taking them across Canada in their upcoming May tour. Ashley Sasha and the Cavalry are a pop folk group with a rock twist, and in this short 6 months they've been together, they've been gaining a lot of attention in the Edmonton music scene.
I think the Edmonton scene is really supportive of other bands, and I found that too, even in BC, people emerging into the music industry are really supportive of one another. So.
Vancouver and Kelowna are two West Coast spots that Ashley Sasha and the Cavalry want to perform on tour.
Kelowna, hopefully. That's where I'm hoping to, at least, just because I go there every summer anyways, and I know a bunch of people that come down and have a good time.
You can check out samples of some original songs on their EP, Pretty Words, on iTunes. Thinking on the spot is hard enough, but thinking on the spot and being funny in front of an audience? Well, that's what these improv artists do every week. Rapid Fire Theatre Improv is known for a fun night out with affordable refreshments, comfy seats, and unlimited comedy that'll keep you on your toes.
It's usually pretty fun, and I think the audience feels involved. So it's nice. It's a nice comparison to, say, a play where the audience would be pretty removed from the experience.
Theatre Sports has been running for 30 years and Rapid Fire Theatre for 21. You can watch and participate in some improv in the city this summer at festivals like the Fringe.
Go forth and spread the truth about pot-smoking polar bears.
Be sure to see improv Friday night and Saturday night, running from 11 to 1 p.m. Most of us are used to the classic Cinderella story, but it's quite the opposite in this remake of the 1981 original comedy, Arthur, as he goes from riches to rags.
Arthur, get in the car.
No.
Bitterman, open the door.
Bitterman, close that door.
Get in the car. Not you, Bitterman.
Who are you people?
I'm his nanny.
I'm not. I'm Bitterman.
Arthur, heir to a billion-dollar corporation, has always cruised through life with no consequences.
I'm going to offer you an ultimatum. You're going to marry Susan Johnson, or you're cut off.
We should not get married. It's a business partnership. We don't have anything in common. You love horses. I don't trust them. Their shoes are permanent. Who makes that kind of a commitment to a shoe?
You can't live without the money.
I get a job.
Get a job.
I am a grown man. Don't let that undermine what I just said.
For the first time, Arthur realizes the real working world isn't as easy as he thought.
Quick word in the back, please. Is that word promotion?
I've heard really great reviews so far, and that's all for entertainment, so enjoy the rest of your weekend.
That's all we got for you tonight.
So why not enjoy the weather, spend time with family, stay active? Thanks for watching.
You can check us out at NAITnewsWatch.ca.